There is a particular kind of silence that feels like, is it betrayal? Yeah, I think so. It is betrayal. Betrayal. You see, a silence not of peace, but of complicity. When people who know better choose to watch as others are thrown under the carriage wheel of public opinion. And week after week, month after month, year after year, Palace Confidential, that other show, doesn't just sit back and watch. Oh, no, 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 no. They drive the bloody carriage. This show, no, not this one, that show, wrapped in their very, very best posh accents and polite panel banter. Oh, no, dear, that's not what he said. You fucking idiot. And polite banter. I I picked up a book of journalism the other day, and I realized that show is not journalism at all. And then I thought, well, it is commentary, isn't it? So I called up one of my friends and I said, listen, friend, I need you to watch this show and tell me, is it commentary? Well, I guess it's not. Not according to him. The conclusion is it's performance art. Yes, yes, and yes. Performance art. Like what I'm doing right now. It's a petty, vindictive masquerade of British colonial aristocracy attitudes pretending to be above the fray. That was pretty long-winded, wasn't it? That's a lot to say, actually. Well, there's more. While stirring every cauldron of gossip they can find. And at the heart of all of this glittering gossip of opera. La 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 la. Oh, my favorite of all times. You see, the crown goes to the one and only drama queen. No, not me. Hey, it's just a performance. Come on. Take it easy there. And the crown goes to the only drama queen, Richard. Eden, who gets the crown this week because Mama Becky, is with the king and the queen concert. Welcome to Majesty Sussex Report. I'm ridiculous. I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us. This is our version today of Palace Uncensored. I think I was having way too much fun there with that intro. I even forgot the name of the show. I called it what? Palace Uncensored rather than Palace Unfiltered. Ay, ay, ay. Too much fun, too much fun. But let's continue to have some fun, right? Let's continue to have some fun with this. I'm flying solo today, so And I couldn't wait to speak to you folks because I was like, these people, honest to goodness, these people, it's just amazing to me, right? That week after week, they 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 gather like clockwork, right? That panel of monochromatic minds spinning sanctimony into slander, always finding a way to drag Megan Sussex. Yeah, I'm saying Sussex. I should say Markle if I want the SEO to like capture any of this, but you know, I'm a Sussex kind of guy, so I'm going to say Sussex. So they love to drag her, right? Find a way, bring her into the conversation, drag her through the British press favorite colonial ritual, public flogging under the disguise of royal analysis. Anyone wants to debate that with me? Because that's what they do. That's what they do. And Richard Eden, who took the crown this week because the usual one who wears it is not there. She's kissing the rear ends of the king and Camilla. So they know that this is very lucrative for them. They said it. They said it. Finally, they said it. Their SEO is all set up. Markle, 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 Markle. Brings in the millions. It feeds all of them. It pays all of their bills. Honestly. Honestly. No shame. No shame whatsoever. No shame. And week after week, we see the performances. And, well, this week, I've been paying special attention to Richard because, you know, Queen Mother is not there. So Richard gets the attention this week. Richard is not really a royal correspondent. He's a character actor in a never ending pantomime. Honestly, flittering between fake concern and open mockery with the flair of someone who peaked. No, I'm not joking. Peaked writing about Chelsea garden parties. He floats theories like perfume, I mean, strong perfume, unproven and disguised as, oh, I'm just concerned. I'm really concerned. Now, the type of perfume that Monsieur Eden wears, it lingers. You see, it lingers. This week, Mr. Eden wanted you to believe that Prince Harry, the veteran, the father, the husband, is some sort of lost little boy, knocking on doors like a lonely fool. And because it's a theater, not the truth, they conveniently left out context. Like the fact that Harry was captured on a security camera and he was on his phone, not stumbling, not confused, but acting like a man trying to navigate without the security that the UK government allegedly took away from him and is refusing to give it back. Where was the journalistic inquiry into why Harry doesn't have the protection he once did? Oh no, hang on a second. Didn't they? They did, but they only gave you one side of the coin. Where was the follow up on Revok and the disturbing revelations that Palace insiders, which they didn't never talk about, Palace insiders who answer to Charles and Williams sit on the very committee denying Prince Harry his protection? one-sided coin. They leave out context. Week after week, month after month, and year after year. No, 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 no. You see, if they did that, that would require to have courage, to have integrity, to actually work. Instead, they prefer to just have a script and giggle. This way, they can throw innuendos and invite the audience to mock a man whose only sin was loving his wife more than the institution that tried to crush her. Richard Eden doesn't report on Harry and Meghan. He performs his contempt like it's a cabaret cheap act. And just when you thought the script couldn't get any more predictable, in comes the YouGov poll. That skinny weapon they yield with glee, claiming that Meghan and Harry are now the least popular oils. Oh no, no, no! Well, save for the DeAndrew. Yes, DeAndrew. Well, okay. Here's what they wouldn't tell you. You see, polls don't speak always the truth. They reflect methodology. In other words, you can engineer a poll to show whatever results you want. Simply call people over the age of 65 in rural areas of England. And trust me, I've been there. Those with fond memories of the Queen and little time for that American startup. And voila, Meghan scores 20% and Harry 27%. Oh mon Dieu, I am shocked. I am so shocked. After 8 years of just daily, daily bad press, daily negative narratives about Meghan and Harry, and there's a poll where they score like second to last. No, no, no. Oh boy, how long are we going to keep up with these theatrics today? Well, let's carry on. They present these numbers as if they were gospel, but it's statistical sort of theater, right? And worst of all, they know it. They know how easy it is to rig perception. Look, when you're playing a curated audience already primed to distrust the one black woman who ever dared to marry into the firm. I mean, the moderator, the host, said, well, how about just to make sure we've got this correctly and just to make sure, people can see that we're not biased at all. Maybe we should do our own poll here. Maybe what we should do is just let me see. Like, can we have one of those? Like, we'll just have our own poll and let our audience, let them vote and tell us. Oh, how stupid are people? I mean, really. It's the same exact same thing like the polls they do for Daily Fail and all the others, and they poll their audience. If you are already reading this garbage and you believe in it, what do you think the result is going to be? What do you think it's going to be?
Now that has got a lot of people talking. William and Catherine are the UK's favourite royals, and I think a quick look at our comments from Palace Confidential would confirm this. Tell us about this poll, Richard, and it wasn't all good news for a certain former working royal, was it?
No, I mean, the headline to the poll was that it was about Harry and Meghan's lack of popularity. And, I mean, it's just so striking because, it's easy to forget now, but Prince Harry was by far the most popular member of the royal family.
Yeah.
He was really loved, but he's now gone to, I think, if I remember rightly, I think it's 28% of people who responded to this survey had a favourable view of him. 28. I mean, it would have been like 80% in the past or something. And for Meghan, it was even less. It was only 20%. But there was one bit of good news for them.
27 for Harry, I'm just hearing.
27 and 20 for Meghan.
Yeah.
And the only sort of crumb of comfort for Harry and Meghan is there is a member of the royal family who is less popular than them. And that is poor old Prince Andrew.
Oh my gosh. Poor old, yeah.
So he actually serves a purpose now. It's to make them feel less bad.
The bar is low.
But yeah, certainly Prince William and Catherine were very popular. I think they said it was 75% had a favourable view of William, which bodes very well for our heir to the throne.
Charlotte, do you think that this is the kind of thing that Harry and Meghan would pay any attention to or care about, or would it be quite wounding, do you think? Because, I mean, there's obviously, potentially it could sort of foresee problems for their commercial ventures, couldn't it?
Yeah, so I think the fact that they have a lot of notoriety and a huge amount of fame, they probably think is quite good for getting these deals with, say, Netflix, or if she wants to sell jam or make any other products. But actually, what a poll does, which they might actually worry about, is show that although they're very, very well known, that people don't actually like them. So if I was, I don't know, making her jam, the company like Netflix selling her jam, I'd worry that the fame doesn't translate to actual sales of their goods. So I guess that's the one bit of noise, as they call it, they pay attention to, might be a poll. But the rest of the negative publicity about themselves, they say they don't listen to or read, and they're not worried about. But this one they might do because it has a financial worry attached to it.
Well, we should say that this is a poll of entirely people in Britain.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I just don't think Meghan cares about Britain at all anymore. I don't think she could care less how popular she is. I mean, I think it's evident from what Harry said in this interview that she's got no plans to come back, and that's perhaps why she's befriending someone like Nicola Peltz, who again finds herself at odds with British popular characters.
It's a good point about it, a survey for a British audience. So I think we should have a Palace Confidential poll. We know we've got a pretty global audience, so I think I'll speak to the producers and we'll put something in our comments so we can do our own official poll. What do you think?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess they're going to have their own internal poll also, just to verify that the YouGov poll is actually correct. Let's ask the uncomfortable question. Why hasn't Palace Confidential ever interrogated the demographic bias in these polls? Why do they never break down who is being asked and where and what media they consume? I mean, it's pretty simple questioning. This is because it's easier to paint Meghan as this light than to ask why the British press has made her the most vilified royal figure in a generation. Why? Why is it so, and I'm going to say something quite controversial, why is it so comfortable for 3 or 4 white people, week after week, decide to hold the whips to flog a black biracial woman week after week. Because they do it with such comfort, they do it with such glee, you see. So my question is this to them. Why is it that 3 or 4 white people feel so comfortable every single week for years to drag a black biracial woman and flog her with the innuendos, with the storytelling, the negative narrative, the half-truths? Why? Why is it? But you see, to the white princess, no, 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 no. She's a rose. She's a delicate English rose. Why is that? Why do they feel so comfortable to do that? Now they may say, well, we've had people of color, we've had people of color here, we've had black people from the islands. When we ask people, we ask everyone. Listen, you will find, right? You will find in every population, demographic, or whatever you want to call it, a set of people, you will find a Sophie Senjuka. You will. There will always, always be a Sophie. There will always be a Nana. There will always be the one who the master elevates. And all of a sudden, they couldn't kiss the inside of the rear end of the master fast enough. We all know that. So you can produce all the black and colored people in the world, and there'll always be 1, 2, 3, 4 who will run to kiss the inner thighs of the master. Once again, thank you for being here. Every time you watch, comment, or share, it means more than you know. I pour my heart into this work because I believe in it. And clearly, if you're here, something brought you too, and it's not my pretty face. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is your moment. Click that button. It's free, and it makes a real difference. And hit the notification bell so you will be one of the first people to be notified when something new and meaningful goes up. If you feel moved by what we're building, consider going a step further. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link and a membership option if you'd like to help us keep this going strong. It's like lighting a little candle for something you believe in. And whether you're here quietly or loud and proud, leave a comment if you can. It helps the message travel. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you very much to all of you new subscribers. Much appreciated that you are here and that you subscribed. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And to all the others who've been here for a while, thank you for every single thing you do for this channel. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I thank you so, so very much. Now, let's carry on. The hypocrisy, the one that sort of sours one's stomach. You know, the one when William and Kate announced that they are focusing on family. The show applauds. How noble, they say. How modern, they say. Parenting before pageantry, they say. But you see, when Harry and Meghan had asked for just a brief relief from all of what was coming continuously towards them, when they chose to raise their children in peace away from flashing bulbs and racist headlines, they're accused of abandonment, of betrayal, of self obsession. Oh, these poor children will never get to know their family. They'll never get to know their family. I feel so sorry. They've got family here. They've got cousins and uncles and aunts and haters and more haters and all of that. And they'll never get to know their family. How dare they leave? How dare they protect their mental health? How dare they ask to serve on their own terms? There are no applause for that, only scorn. Week after week, month after month, year after year. And you mean to tell me that this show does not have an agenda? I might have just wet myself. No, I didn't. Oh, because it's not about family values, you see. It's about control. And when Meghan refused to bow to the palace's demand for silence and submission, when certain courtier was found out to be sucking out of both ears, getting sucked out of both ears, actually. Suck out of both mouths? Would that work? I'm not sure. Anyways, whatever he was doing, and they demanded that his name be taken out of this lawsuit. And when the Sussexes said no, well, Harry said no, they continued to demonize them, and especially her. She became a target, not just for criticism, but of punishment. Punishment. If any one of you thought that I was going a little bit too far with what I've said before, they like to drag her into the center square, the plaza, and flog her every single week. It's punishment. Punishment. Oh, and let us not forget African parks. Yes, it's back again. It's back again. And as a diligent reporter, you're not a reporter. Well, as a diligent content creator that wants to bring you the information, they had a conversation about African parks. African Parks, a conservation charity Harry worked on tirelessly, Now suddenly under scrutiny again, according to them, not for evidence of his wrongdoing, but because guilt by association makes for excellent headlines. You see, Harry was the president once of African Parks. Now he sits on the board for African Parks. The show never mentions Harry's global leadership in environmental advocacy or his record on anti poaching initiatives. Instead, they use unconfirmed accusations. Now, I didn't check them. Okay, let me be very plain and truthful. I didn't check them. So, as far as I'm concerned, they're unconfirmed accusations to initiate this conversation. And the accusation is that employees or the guards that monitor or work in these large parts of land that are being held for conservation mistreat or are not very good, nice, or to the local population. Now, I am aware that this accusation came about a few years ago, and African Parks did a thorough investigation, and nothing was found. African Parks also requested from the people that were making the accusation to come forward and show proof. None of that ever happened. So the case was closed. Until now. Here we go again. They're doing what they're doing with Santibale, with Sophie Shanduka. And now they think they have an opportunity now with African Parks. Let's see where it goes. What I find interesting and fascinating to me is that here we go again with the double, no, it's not a double standard, but the way they present these things to their public. Meanwhile, Camilla's teary remembrance of her late brother, it's treated as sacred. You see, Camilla's brother did something with elephants, I think, I'm not sure. But they spoke about it. I wasn't paying much attention to that part, but oh, the Queen. It is just, it fascinates me. Fascinates me how easily they say that word and associate it to that woman. How easily they do it. Oh, poor thing. She was teary eyed at remembering her late brother. You know, I know I sound like I'm being a little bit sarcastic or whatever, but I'm not. I understand, one can get emotional. Everyone has emotions, and I'm sure she has them too, somewhere. Now, my question is, where is that empathy when Meghan talked about having unaliving herself ideations? Where is that empathy when Harry and Meghan talk about the families that have lost children unaliving themselves due to social media? Where's that empathy? Where is the whole segment on that? Where's the compassion when Harry speaks about losing his mother in a car chase and fearing the same fate for his wife? They have countless names they call him. None of them nice, of course. Not one of them. There is a spiritual poverty, a spiritual poverty in the British media and tabloid class. This hollow joy in watching people crumble. And Palace Confidential is not exempt from that. They are part of the rot that keeps eating at the internal entire nation. Entire nation. It's the rot.
Media, media, media literacy. Media, media, media literacy. Brought to you by Majesty Sussex Report.
Well, well, well. A lot of surprises on this episode. That's a pretty dramatic intro to a segment. Wow. I kind of like it though. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it. So, media literacy is one of the things that I think are so important. And just to show you this quick example of when you are media literate, you're able to question what is being sold to you as facts, as truth, and imagery that is used also in order to convey emotions. So, the photograph that we used to tell that part of our story about the elephants or Camilla's brother, that was an image taken on when the king and Camilla went on tour of Australia and Samoa. Now, you would think, using that imagery, you would have thought, oh, she looks quite emotional there, like she's in tears. And you would have assumed that that might have been the event I was talking about, where Camilla got emotional over remembering her brother. In fact, it's not. For those in the know, you know that that picture is from when they were in Samoa. Now, here's the interesting part. This same picture was used and published in a publication to tell the story about how the queen was so emotional, their queen, not my queen, was so emotional over Charles' cancer diagnosis. Sorry about that. Diagnosis. So you see? But in fact, we know that's not the case. We know that this imagery, that picture, was actually her laughing at a traditional dance being performed in Samoa. Because you see, Camilla has this tradition of laughing at people's indigenous traditions. She did it in Canada, and here she's doing it again. Now, don't take it from me. Take it from a supporter that basically said, he framed it differently, but she was laughing, not crying. I mean, laugh, cry, but not crying over the king's cancer diagnosis. Media literacy teaches us that we must pay attention to what is being sold to us, why that story is being sold to us. Are there other interests for that story to be told to us a certain way? And what is it that they're not telling us? What's the other side of this story that we're not being told?
Already well known for her wicked sense of humor, Queen Camilla had a difficult time keeping it together as she wiped her eye after crying with laughter during a farewell ceremony at Siamu village as heavy rain impacted the final day of the royal visit to Australia and Samoa.
You see what I mean? See what I mean? Now, if you were to just strip away the royal titles, the banter, the studio lighting, what you're left with here, these shows, is really state adjacent propaganda. That's what these shows are. A show with cozy access, fed by palace PR, regurgitating talking points dressed up as opinion. And remember, this stuff feeds social media and it gets amplified. Now, Rebecca English, notably absent this week, was reportedly covering the King and Camilla. Now, they will never mention her deep connection now to supposedly the King and Camilla, to William and Kate. They will never mention that in the past she has labeled both Kate and William work shy, or how since then she's pivoted into royal sycophant. Now you couldn't get her off of their rear ends. You really couldn't. There is nothing here but conflict of interest. Of course not. Nothing about accountability. Of course not. Just more curated commentary from a press corps that's become the monarchy's unofficial press office. Isn't that dandy? Just wonderful. And just when you thought that this was it, no, 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 no. The circus has arrived. The circus couldn't find another act. Here comes the Beckhams. As someone put it on the show, well, they're like the second royal family of the kingdom, aren't they? They're the second royal family. They're the second after the first one. The Beckhams are the second royal family. Okay. Here comes the Beckhams, ladies and gentlemen, Madame et Monsieur. Allez. Or rather, the tabloid's dream. A crossover. Oh, mon Dieu, we have a crossover. Ooh. Crossover episode between Meghan Markle, Duchess of Division. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. And the Real Housewives of Beverly Grove, also known as the Beckhams. Boom, 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 boom. Did you folks like that? Did you like that? That was good, eh? Ay, ridículo. I am so ridiculous, honestly. So, according to People Magazine, all right, I'm going to get myself together here. Now, what was spun so gleefully by Palace Confidential, Harry and Meghan hosted Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz for a dramatic Montecito dinner. Except they didn't. Okay. The dinner wasn't even held at the Sussexes' home, according to some information that has come out, but at the Malibu estate of Brian Robbins, CEO of Paramount Pictures, and his wife, Tracy James, who we've seen. Love Tracy. A powerhouse Hollywood couple. Not exactly your average potluck host, but that inconvenient truth didn't stop the panel from bringing their favorite person into the center stage on the plaza center stage and into to do what, my people? To do what? Right? To take their whips out because it's their colonial favorite thing to do. Favorite these 3 or 4 white people week after week. Their favorite person to drag into the square so she can be used and reminded to those who may want to go above their station. Don't even try. Don't even try. So they drag her into somebody else's family feud. Because this wasn't about Brooklyn and Nicola. This was about feeding the narrative that Meghan, always inserts herself. How convenient. That she is the one who is spinning the pot, stirring it like really great, That she somehow orchestrated family discord wherever she goes, even if the feud predates her involvement and centers around, wait for it, ready? Wait for it. Which woman wore whose fashion line to a freaking wedding? Yes, people, to the wedding. They paint Meghan as a meddler in a saga that is quite clearly a modern Greek tragedy starring Posh as Hermaphrodite and Nicola Peltz as Psycho. Really? I mean, this is complete with accusations of love bombing, dog sanctuary snubbing. I mean, this has got everything. Everything. I mean, I, I was aware of this even before the wedding happened. I was aware of it. Now, it's interesting that they paint Nicola a certain way when no one talks about, Brooklyn. Now, certain segments of society who I happen to know, I mean, just by people who know people who know people who know people who know people, right? I mean, when that wedding was about to happen, there was the whole thing about securing Nicola's wealth because, you know, the Beckham boy, no one knows what he does really for a living. And everyone was a little bit, well, let's secure Nicola's wealth because her family are billionaires. Billionaires. You stupid people. Like Nicola. Nicola wanted Brooklyn's fame his fame. That's why she married him. You stupid people. Stupid. It has nothing to do with Meghan or Harry. And yet, like clockwork, they are inserted as agitators, the ever convenient villains in a media soap opera they didn't even audition for because Meghan wouldn't, Harry wouldn't. It's way beneath them. Because let's face it, my beautiful people of discerning taste, that's why you're here. If Meghan hosted a silent meditation in a cave 3,000 feet above sea level, the drama queen of Richard Eden would still accuse her of trying to steal the cave. Honest to goodness, he would, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he? So, this whole thing about inserting the Sussexes into this drama, they have nothing to do with this. Nothing. And the whole argument about, well, the Sussexes had a past with the Beckhams, and Meghan did this and she didn't want it then. She kept asking posh, Victoria for free clothing. Give me free clothing. And this nonsense, petty freaking, I was going to use another word. I so I so want to use another word that begins with F. F as in foxtrot. So, oh yeah, folks, come on. If anything at all, I hope you're enjoying today's episode because I'm having fun with it, and at the same time I'm cracking myself up, and at the same time I'm going, are you gonna really, really publish this? Because yeah. What did I eat earlier today? I don't know. Let me think. But I haven't had coffee because I had tea and I had yeah. So I can't just blame the food. Must be just how I woke up. It's just fascinating. So now this little pantsuit um that kitty cat. So kitty cat wore. I thought it was a nice pantsuit. I thought, oh, that looks really great. And then I thought, where have I seen that? I've seen something similar. Where have I? Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So the copycat, kitty cat is copying again. Kitty cat is a copycat. All right. Kitty cat is a copycat. So kitty cat, tried to imitate, emulate, whatever, Megan. She's dressed. And now we all know that the suit, it was designed by Victoria Beckham. So the question was asked in Palace Company, do you think she did it on purpose? Do you think it was just to send a message? Is she sending a message to Meghan? Sending a message to Meghan. Our delicate English rose is sending a message to Meghan, You effing stupid idiots. Do you think Meghan cares two banana peels? Do you think she cares two banana peels? She's still imitating Meghan. Do you not see that? Do you not see that the original is always the better? Do you not see? Do you not see that? Are you that stupid? Are you that deep into someone's rear end that you don't see? So, yeah, one of them said, I just think that maybe what happened is that the courtiers brought her all these different fashion lines and designers, all these English designers, and they said, Mom, Your Royal Highness, Mom, Kitty Cat, hello, meow, meow, Kitty Cat, you've got to get up, Kitty Cat, come on. You got to get up, Kitty Cat. Yes, you have to present an award. Yes, Kitty Cat. So here are all the designers. And Kitty Cat just raised her hands and said, I'll have that one over there. And it so happened to be Victoria Beckham, a pantsuit with flaring. I can't continue like this. I really can't. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I can't. I've got to stop it. I've got to stop it. Boy. But there it is. There it is. And they brought up also this they brought up the whole thing about the woman who wanted to sue um, Meghan because of the bad salts or whatever. But you see, they didn't tell the whole story. They just told the part that is convenient for their narrative, the part that said, yes, Meghan is being sued because of her bath salts. But it didn't tell the rest of the story. They never do. They never do. Okay, I've got to bring this to a close pretty soon. Now, here is something very telling. Very, very telling. On this episode, because Queen Mother was not there, Charlotte decided to be a little bit more herself, I guess. And she would have, bring into what might have happened, like the truth. Like just hint at it a little bit. Just a little tiny bit. She just hinted a little bit at it. Right? In some of the stories, she would say, well, when it came to the bath salt thing, she said, well, don't you think this woman is just trying to like make some money and sue just to make some money? Like there might not be anything there. Oh, baby Jesus, baby hallelujah, baby Jesus. Who told her to say that? Who told her to say that? Now, here is why, or a reason why. We know so much of this stuff is fabricated. So much of this stuff is written for a particular audience because that audience eats it up like dessert. They just they love the hate. They love the hate. So these are just two comments randomly picked. Actually, they were at the top of the comments. Here we go. Charlotte, please stop. He didn't have to use the BBC to contact his father. He needs to grow up, be responsible for his family and himself. While he has someone like yourself giving him excuses to cover his actions, he will never grow up and be an adult. Oh Lord, baby Jesus, this woman or person, whomever you are, you've drank the Kool-Aid once, twice, thrice. You've drank it and you keep drinking it, baby Jesus. Now the next one. Charlotte Griffith is one of the worst royal commentators. Her excuses for H and M are on. I'm an idiot. Unbearable. Please don't let her ruin the show. Please don't let her ruin the show. Just because in a few instances she interjected and said, well, there's this possibility also. How dare she? How dare she give a possibility that there are other options that don't demonize the Sussexes? They're angry. So they love it. They love it. They don't want the truth. They have drank. There is an epidemic in the world that is feeding this darkness, this evil, feeds into it. They just want to be fed anger, hate. Feed it to us. Feed it to us. That's what they want. Look how happy the Trump supporters would get when he would say, knock them out. Knock them out. Turn to the press and say, beat them up. Turn to an innocent person, black person, African American, colored, whatever. Migrants, they are why you are poor. They are why eggs are $12. They are the reason for your ignorance. And here we have the same type of people who inhale this, and they do not want to inhale anything else than a big pile of SHIT in their face. They love it. How dare she even suggest that there might be another reason why, other than that of vilifying, demonizing the Sussexes? Incredible. Incredible. Well, 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 my beautiful people. I think we are coming towards the end of today's episode. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed myself being absolutely ridiculous. Um, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I still have one other clip to play, but I'll play that as our had an out clip. I and I encourage you to watch it, please. I think it was just phenomenal. It was absolutely great. I grabbed it from Megan American Riviera Orchard. So thank you very much for posting that. And thank you, Megan American Riviera Orchard. I just wanted to, you know, mention them because that's where I got the clip from. And Marina just freaking does an amazing job. Listen, the island need more of Marina, more people like Marina. And it amazes me the somersaults that Jeremy Vine was trying to do and make, and the other guy. It was just, oh, and some of the stuff he was saying made no sense. No sense whatsoever. Well, the $2 billion that the king has, one could say it's not really his. It's not really his money. He doesn't really have $2 billion. I mean, £2 billion. He doesn't. So, like, can any of UK citizens go and say, okay, well, it's not your money. Can I have some of that? Stupid. Anyways, don't you folks think that William looks so fantastic in his frock, in his cape? Diva, I tell you, Diva. Viva Las Vegas. Viva. I have to stop this. What is wrong with me today? All right. I love you all. Thank you for spending your time here with me, with us. It's a privilege, and a privilege that I don't take lightly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stick around for the next clip. And until we speak again, much love. Take care of yourselves and be kind to yourselves, please. Mwah.
In its simplest terms, this is obscene, right? If you break this down, if I have a sprawling property portfolio and I can't afford the repairs on one of them, then I have to sell that off. I don't then get other people to fund it for me. Add to that, King Charles is reportedly worth 1.8 billion from the money that his estate rakes in from inherited land, from the seabed, from the air, from profiting from charities, from our public services. Pay for it yourself. And also,
but he sort of is, because the Crown Estate generates money.
Come on, Jeremy. The seabed, this massive boom in offshore wind, he just pockets. How can we justify this? Jeremy, how can we justify this in a period where we have got people, Labour, taking PIP money away from disabled people, 1.4 million children living in poverty? It's obscene. And also, there's no reputation there.
In terms of, if you're Charles and you're in Buckingham Palace, I don't think he probably considers that to be his home.
But it is one of them.
It's a place he lives, which we all own. And when it starts falling down, we all have to repair it. Now, you're right. We can decide to level it and put some tennis courts there or something.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying do what they do with the palaces of Versailles, where it's actually much more accessible when you don't have a family living there that will pay for.
Charlie, how about that? As we try and find some common ground here, you could say to the king, look, you don't really need the palace, frankly, because there's just you and Camilla, and they've got, no exaggeration, 775 rooms. So we'll take it over and open it as a museum, and you can move to St James's Palace, Windsor Palace.
Well, then when does it stop? You'll be moving them out until they're, my next door neighbour, maybe. But, with the greatest respect,
why? Why can't they just why can't he use his money? He doesn't even pay inheritance tax like the rest of us. Why can't he just use his money, his public service to the public can be, I'll sort these repairs out myself, everyone?
Well, because the public service that he does and duties are a lot more than what we do.
And, trousering cash from people that you shouldn't.
But the whole royal family, as Jeremy said, brings in more money than what is being spent anyway. It is not. It is not. It's absolutely
Our economy
true.
is worth 140 billion. The royal-related travel is a fraction of that. And as we've just spoken about, places where they do not have a royal family, they just have royal buildings, actually generate more.
Over time are completely devalued because nobody's lived there. And by the way, you can, well, of course it is, because they're not living there, but you can go to Buckingham Palace, you can pay to go in, you can visit it, you can look around, it opens up in the summer, so people do go in to pay to visit the palace. I know, because I've done it.
Explain, Charlie, why he can't use his however many millions, billions, why can't he use that himself?
Queen did a lot for Windsor Castle. I think but you see, the thing is, I don't think you accept that any of that money is Charles's anyway. So I think saying why can't he use his own money, I think your argument really is that he's only rich by virtue of his birth, and that's basically all public money, his $2 billion that he's got. So when we say the Queen paid through her own money for Windsor Castle after the fire, actually you'd probably say, well, it's not really her money. I mean, that's the thrust of it, isn't it? You don't think they really own anything.
I question a lot of it. But fine, let's just say they have what they have, right? Which I don't think is fair either. Why should this man own our seabed, right? The air. But we learned from that Channel 4 Dispatches documentary.
Yes.
They charged the taxpayer for air for 1 cubic unit.